Okay, we have a bit of a doozy. Let's just dive into her, shall we?
Is hating your parents like a new trend or something? 'Cause I swear, every time I scroll, I see somebody blaming their mom or dad for everything wrong in their life. And I get it. Some of us really didn't have the best childhood, and some of us are still healing from the things our parents couldn't give us. But can we be real for a second? Healing doesn't mean hating. You can acknowledge what hurt you without turning it into a lifelong grudge. Some of you are still punishing your parents for not being perfect when all they was doing was trying to survive too. At some point, the peace you're looking for isn't in the blame. It's in the understanding. You don't gotta forget. You don't even gotta be close. But stop carrying that hate like it's healing you, because it's not. It's just keeping you stuck in the pain you're trying to escape.
Is she AIing? Tell me what you think. Is she, cause it's all choppy and like she's reading a script, and listen, I have no problem with scripting content and things like that. We all have our way of doing things. It's just, this feels very AI-ish to me. Part of healing is making peace with all of your emotions and feeling all your feelings and honoring those feelings. Part of healing is allowing space for that and not feeling like you're holding a grudge and that sort of thing. Grudge. It just brings me back. Did anyone ever see that movie, The Grudge? Where she's got all the hair and everything. So my youngest daughter and I watched that years ago. She was old enough to watch it. She wasn't but we walked around for weeks going, the noise. Anyway, sorry. You can Google it. It just flashed in my mind. I'm going to have to send her a voice note with the today. Anyway, all right, back to her. Holding a grudge and staying stuck in the hate. Again, it goes back to that arrogance of we must have to be able to hate them, be angry at them, hold a grudge to stay out of a relationship with them. I think that's a part of where this comes from. And they cannot conceptualize that they lose emotional control over us because we process through those emotions. And by the way, you're not stuck if you're hating, you're angry, you're sad. You're not stuck. You are processing through probably all the feelings that you weren't allowed to have in childhood. And you're trying to figure out likely how to regulate those feelings, how to embrace those feelings, how not to feel like a bad person around those feelings, because we get taught by observation that anger is an action instead of an emotion. When we see our parents rage at us and then we have feelings of anger, we feel like we're bad, like they were in those moments when we start to unpack all that stuff. She can't understand that anger is actually the gateway to healing, because that's an emotion we need to feel around the things that were done to us, or even at or for the person who did them to us. It is part of the healing process to have a range of emotions, or even a part of being a human being. Sometimes somebody pisses you off and you're angry. Okay, emotion, action. If you're doing something like punching them in the face when you're angry, obviously that's not appropriate. That's a bad thing to do. That's an action. That action isn't the emotion though. It's separate, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you. I hope that categorizes it in a way that you understand that being angry doesn't mean that you're holding a grudge or you're a bad person. She can't conceptualize that as we distance ourselves, the thought of our parents also becomes distant. And our feelings around what they did and towards them becomes distant, and it shifts. And we start to have feelings around what we lost. We start to grieve. We start to mourn in my case, the mother I never had, that I'll never have. Not knowing before each trauma or after each trauma who I would have been, because every time I was harmed by, we'll just go with my mother for this one because there were other people, I was changed, I was altered, which meant that my future and my trajectory was changed. As a young adult, and they like to go, the switch flips at 18, you no longer have CPTSD, now it's your fault if you do, right? Kind of thing. You know, when we're not given a foundation that sets us out in the world at an advantage, but rather we're given something that sets us out in the world at a disadvantage, we struggle. And that struggle is a direct reflection on how we were raised. And so there is accountability to be had there. And here she is making sure she's not going to take any of it. There was a point in time where, like, my first marriage was filled with domestic violence. I was 19 years old. That's my mother's fucking fault. It is. It's her fault. I ended up in that situation because she pre-groomed me for exactly that. If I kept making relationship decisions that were on repeat and never did anything to get out of my own way as I became an older adult, and by older I mean year by year, 19, 20, 21, 22. If I didn't do anything different, at some point that is on me because I am forming into an adult who's still operating from that place and I'm not seeking out to do better. There is a point it shifts on me. What she's also missing though is that we were responsible. We were made to feel responsible. We were told we were responsible for the way that they treated us in our childhood. And then as an adult, we bear the burden of the entire responsibility of doing better for ourselves and not hating them simultaneously. So I would like to know when it is that we were actually not responsible for what was happening to us and in our lives. Like, where did we have the luxury of just being a kid and not taking responsibility on to fix everything around us while not being allowed to have any emotions that we learn how to grow into and process, kind of thing. Like, there's so much in her. I think she's probably trying to be some sort of guru kind of in her messaging. And what would happen with these types of estranged parents if, you know, they're using AI? I'm just thinking about it right now, and they're giving a whole spiel in front of their other estranged parents because they're banding together. It's so interesting to watch how they're becoming a cult, and they are turning on each other and kicking each other off. There's now two factions that I've noticed of these estranged parents. You don't see that in the estranged adult daughter, estranged adult son communities. I haven't seen that. I do see that we have communication with each other and things like that. However, we're not a team against, we're a team for us healing. And there is a big difference there. Anyway, what happens if she's doing her whole AI spiel with her script and somebody asks her a question, she doesn't have something clever to say? I'd like to see that. Oh, snarky sparky. Okay, I'm being a little mean. I know, I'm being a little mean. Anyway, okay, next video. By the way, I haven't watched these in a while, so I'm like, oh, yeah, like some of it I remember what she said, some of it none at all.
To my adult children, you have no idea how much I've cried over you.
I may not have an idea of how much she cried over her adult children, but I do have an idea of how much her adult children didn't get their emotional needs met, because here she is leading right out of the gate with the guilt. It's about me, and look what you've done.
Not because I'm angry, but because I'm hurt. Because I loved you with everything I had, even when I was broken myself. I wasn't perfect, but I showed up the best way I knew how. And it breaks my heart to see how easy it is for you to forget.
And that could have been true. You know, that could be true. Many of us have done the best that we can with what we have. You know, though, like, as I say that out loud, the way my mother, and I hate saying that actually, there's truth in it. My mother did the best she could to violate me day in and day out. The things that she did behind closed doors without an audience, she didn't do in front of other people. She didn't call me a tramp in front of people. She didn't tell me I was damaged goods in front of people. Actually, let me just insert this little video here that gives you some framework around that, what I mean by that. This is my daughter, Marnie. Marnie, say hi. Hi. That's enough, Marnie. You know, you're not supposed to talk too much. People don't like children who talk too much, right? Isn't that right? They don't like children who talk too much. Don't even worry about her. She's just damaged goods. I mean, I tell her all the time, you know, she's a total tramp. Yeah. I mean, I know she's only 9, but please don't let looks deceive you. Like, seriously, she's only good for one thing. And if you knew what a follower she was, and please don't do anything for her because she will just use you. She is a user. I mean, everybody in our family, they know, like, she's a liar. She's a sneak. She's just sick in the head. I cannot tell you the number of times that people tell me that I should just send her away or get her a shrink. They can't even understand how it is I continue to be her mother. Like, seriously. So yeah, Marnie, don't look down. You need to like look up. Like, stop that. What's that look on your face? Stop that. Straighten that out. Yeah, I don't even know. Anyway, you know what? Why don't we grab a bite to eat? Okay. Yeah. Like, let's go and grab a bite to eat. Marnie, where's that babysitting money you got paid last night? I know you have it on you. Okay, great. Thanks. Let's go. And so for her, as she's saying all of these things, she is, of course, failing to recognize that that is not a way that you connect to someone that you hurt. She's failing to say, you know what? And maybe she will in the video. I highly doubt it. She's failing to say, I was going through all my stuff and I did the best I could. And I really recognize how much I harmed and hurt you. And I'm so sorry. No, she out of the gate. It's about my emotions, where I was at the time. And that, ma'am, is why you are estranged. Because the only person you are actually seeing in the room while you're saying a message to my adult children, is you. You're the only person that you can actually see in this equation.
Breaks my heart to see how easy it is for you to forget all the times I prayed for you and all the times I went without, so you didn't have to. You'll never understand the weight a mother carries until you become one yourself. But I still love you, even from a distance, even through the pain. Because no matter what happens between us, you are still a piece of me. I just hope one day you'll see me for who I truly am and not from the version you built out of pain. I'm still healing. And I'm still praying for you.
Not for the version that you built out of pain. Where did the pain come from? I don't even think I need to say more about that. Okay, next video, because I just don't even want to. Okay. Snarky, sparky.
Stop using your kids to punish your parents. Let's be real. That's not healing. That's control. And you know it. You're mad about what they didn't do for you. And you want to make sure they don't get to do it with your kids. That's not power. That's pain. Still running the show. You keep saying you're protecting your peace, but baby, peace don't come with revenge in it. That's just bitterness dressed up as boundaries. If your parents are toxic, fine, keep your distance. But if it's just old pride and unhealed hurt, then maybe you need to ask yourself, who are you really punishing? Them or your kids? At some point, somebody has to grow up emotionally and stop passing down the same trauma with a prettier name. Break the cycle. Don't be the reason your kids grow up repeating the same trauma.
Okay, so first of all, people who look at, like this, who look at us as punishing them and weaponizing our children are the people who weaponize children. That's why they think that way. That is like definitely a huge projection going on there. And that we're doing it again, like out of hate for them and all of these different things. It's like, I don't know about you, and I'm 30 years plus out of my relationships with my mother. And I know I make a lot of content, and there's times I talk about the things that she did to me, the things I experienced and things like that. I very rarely think of her outside of that at all, with any sort of emotion attached to her at this point in my life. Like, she's just a non-entity to me. I do from time to time check the obits. I definitely would like some justice. She's just not a part of my daily life though, and she doesn't live rent free in my head. And, you know, this whole thing of breaking cycles and how they're trying to act like us taking our children away from their chosen horrific behavior is not breaking the cycle, yet none of them explain why that is. How is allowing them access? Oh, because she will do for her grandchildren what she wouldn't do for her own child. Oh, could that be to show her own child that her grandchildren are worthy of her love and care and they're not? Could that be a weaponization, some triangulation going on in there? I had a relationship with my mother up until the time that my eldest daughter was 6 years old, 5, 6. I think she was closer to 6. And my son was about 2.5. Why did I do that? Because I thought that my mother was showing at least my daughter, she didn't like my son at all. Like, she really didn't like him. Again, weaponization, triangulation, that whole thing. I really thought she was a different person with my daughter. And while it made me sad that I didn't get that person for me, I really loved that my daughter was getting that person. And as time went on, I started to see patterns of behavior that showed me differently, and things that she was doing to be emotionally harmful to my daughter. And I remember when my daughter was, like 10 days to a month old, and my mother was playing with her and singing and cooing and playing with her, doing a whole thing. And I've never seen that version of her in my life, which definitely let me know that she didn't do that with me because of who I was. And that she could do that with my daughter because my daughter was everything beautiful, which is what I brought into the room. That's how I felt. That's why I also thought my kids would be benefiting from these relationships, because I deserved the maltreatment, the abuse, the harm, and they are perfect. Of course nobody's going to harm them. That's where my mindset was at the time. If I had stayed in those, and just, for a little added kind of thing, I was so stunned when I saw my mother playing with my daughter this way that I lost my filter and my self-preservation in that moment, because you don't question my mother, obviously, duh, right? And I said, did you ever play with me like that? And she said, of course. And there were other people around, so the subject got dropped, and I remember looking, going, then why don't I remember you ever playing with me like that? Like, I remember kind of thinking about it, and then, other things were happening at the time and whatever. I've since come to know that when I was an infant, she left me in my crib for hours on end and didn't feed me, didn't change me, and that was utter and complete bullshit, right? At the end of the day, if she could have stayed that version of a grandmother though, and built on that affection and been that to my children and been a safe person, I would have absolutely stayed in a relationship with her. She chose how she behaved, and I chose to protect my children. And as a result, I did break a cycle of abuse. I also passed down trauma to my children. And I also hope that when they have children, they pass down less trauma to theirs, and so on and so forth. I broke the cycle of the narcissistic family system for my children. I didn't break the cycle of generational trauma that's still going to exist and get watered down through, because I was 17 years old, if for no other reason than that, and there were more reasons, when I had my eldest daughter. There's a difference though between passing down trauma in terms of, us being maybe emotionally mature and doing some damage, and then recognizing, oh crap, and stopping doing it and doing better and acknowledging our children and fostering good relationships with them where they actually want to be around us. Like, she doesn't for a moment think, why doesn't my adult son want to be around me? I don't want to be around her. Just her voice alone makes me insane. Anyway, I definitely made decisions. I was definitely emotionally immature. I also have complex PTSD, and I was undiagnosed. I didn't go to therapy until my eldest was like 11. I used to think 9, and then I redid the math. I mean, my kids got, in different ways, a very unhealed cookie version of me. And I grew up with my eldest daughter. I grew up with her. I was 17 years old. And so that's what I mean about passing down trauma. My children will all say the same thing. We've had lots of conversations. They never felt that I abused them. They definitely felt hurt by me. And I'm like, okay, but like, kind of what's the difference? And they're like, well, Mom, like you would do things or say things that hurt our feelings. However, we always knew that we were loved and safe with you. And we also knew that when you did that and we called you out, you would see us and apologize and do better. I'm like, oh, isn't that interesting? Okay. And I wasn't perfect. I'm being very snarky sparky. I'm on my 3rd video of the day, or maybe 4th, like 4th person-ish person. And, I didn't expect her to really like dig into me, but she's really making me a little nutsy. Okay. So those were my only 2 videos of her, but let's just read a couple of things. My only 2. I think they're my only 2. Okay, I'm really sorry if this video is a bit choppy, and I'm going to play all her videos at the end. It's just I thought I had another video in here, and I don't, of her. And of course I play all the way through, you know, the little snippets of her different statements and things like that. The pain a mother carries when he walks away. Again, it's all about her and her pain. Healing from the pain of your adult children can cause. And she sells a thing when they walk away, finding peace and strength after adult children walk away. It's got a 5.0 rating. I think she sold 4 of them, and it's $6. And so we can see what she's trying to do. And I'm putting the whole screenshot here and everything and what she goes through. The painful truth about kicking out your adult child you're attached to. And I decided not even to bother watching those videos. When you realize your kids are just entitled, you get the theme. Yet, if we comment in on any of these, I don't comment in on them. I don't waste my time. But if we comment in on any of these, they say, oh, all the estranged children are in an uproar and whatever. They really don't care to do any better. They really want that control back and the status quo. They want reconciliation only if it's on their terms. They have no interest in actually repairing the relationship because they don't understand or care to understand what that looks like. And so here we are, the adult sons and the adult daughters who were left with 2 choices, really, and they're not choices. To stay in a relationship, we're supposed to fight for being in a toxic relationship, by the way, and putting up with them because they brought us into the world and we owe them the whole rest of our lives, or to separate from them and leave children out of it, like any children we may or may not have in the future, and be able to live a life where we are actually engaged in relationships with people who are safe for us and care about us. Those are our 2 options. Why on any planet would anybody choose to stay in a relationship with someone who only prioritizes their feelings and guilting us along? Like, how make the math, make it make sense. So I'm sure she sounds like a lot of your parents out there. I appreciate you commenting and letting me know how you're thinking and feeling about her. If you're interested in another layer of healing or more healing tip kind of videos, journal prompts, stuff like that, hit the join button on this video and you can get details about how you can get those things. That she's selling something for $6. I feel a little bit like her. This isn't that. I'm not looking to keep you stuck in this. I'm looking to help provide tools for people to be able to have healthy relationships with themselves first and foremost, because that leads you to having healthy relationships with other people. And so whenever I'm talking about like the join button and things like that, I hesitate because of I'm not here to sell you something. I'm really here to connect to you. These videos that I make, a 30-minute video takes me like 90 minutes to edit. It's always 3 times as much, and I'm kind of a one-woman team here. And so having a join button allows me to kind of fund that time a little bit. And at the same time, it gives me the thing that I'm really looking for more than anything, which is deeper healing and connection. Me sharing my perspectives on this, seeing these patterns of these types of parents, my sharing the experiences that I've gone through, not my truth, it's the truth. They are the experiences I went through. I cannot begin to tell you how healing that's been for me. Writing has been tremendously healing for me. Don't burn anything you write, by the way. Keep it. Look back on it. See your progress. See who you were at the time, what your mindset was. It's so valuable. So all of these things that I do, I'm also doing for me, for my own healing journey. And being able to do that and help you heal along the way is everything to me. It means that I can take this really horrific start I had in life and have something good come out of it. And that's what all this means for me. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you all. Regardless of whether or not you're in like the membership section with the join, there are always going to be videos that are posted here, just like I'm doing right now, every single day for you to, grab onto, for you to resonate with. And I do answer your comments. I do read them all. A lot of times I heart them because I'm one person and I won't turn this over to a moderator. I want to read the comments. This is a safe space. I want to make sure that the integrity of our community, this channel, is maintained. And so I'm not going to outsource things like that. I just won't. So, okay, I'm rambling. I'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Is hating your parents like a new trend or something? 'Cause I swear, every time I scroll, I see somebody blaming their mom or dad for everything wrong in their life. And I get it. Some of us really didn't have the best childhood, and some of us are still healing from the things our parents couldn't give us. But can we be real for a second? Healing doesn't mean hating. You can acknowledge what hurt you without turning it into a lifelong grudge. Some of you are still punishing your parents for not being perfect when all they was doing was trying to survive too. At some point, the peace you're looking for isn't in the blame. It's in the understanding. You don't gotta forget. You don't even gotta be close. But stop carrying that hate like it's healing you, because it's not. It's just keeping you stuck in the pain you're trying to escape. To my adult children, you have no idea how much I've cried over you. Not because I'm angry, but because I'm hurt. Because I loved you with everything I had, even when I was broken myself. I wasn't perfect, but I showed up the best way I knew how. And it breaks my heart to see how easy it is for you to forget all the times I prayed for you and all the times I went without, so you didn't have to. You'll never understand the weight a mother carries until you become one yourself. But I still love you, even from a distance, even through the pain. Because no matter what happens between us, you are still a piece of me. I just hope one day you'll see me for who I truly am and not from the version you built out of pain. I'm still healing. And I'm still praying for you. Stop using your kids to punish your parents. Let's be real. That's not healing. That's control. And you know it. You're mad about what they didn't do for you. And you want to make sure they don't get to do it with your kids. That's not power. That's pain. Still running the show. You keep saying you're protecting your peace, but baby, peace don't come with revenge in it. That's just bitterness dressed up as boundaries. If your parents are toxic, fine, keep your distance. But if it's just old pride and unhealed hurt, then maybe you need to ask yourself, who are you really punishing? Them or your kids. At some point, somebody has to grow up emotionally and stop passing down the same trauma with a prettier name. Break the cycle. Don't be the reason your kids grow up repeating the same trauma.